you probably a vet on the team, but you're not a vet in the league in a way. So
6 years.
a
lot of years, dude.
10.
What's the average? What's the average NBA
like 4, isn't
playing
it?
career? That's like 4 or 5.
His
4.
parent says 5.
I was saying, I already passed
Yeah,
that, bro.
so he already passed it. So he's already.
Yeah, you're on your way up, brother. That just means you're closer to getting out, you know?
I'm on the way out?
Yeah, you're on the way out.
This episode is presented by Audible. Audible's Best of 2025 collection is here, featuring the year's most incredible audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Their editors have handpicked the absolute best in every genre, from edge-of-your-seat thrillers to mind-expanding nonfiction. Ready to discover your favorite listen? Head to audible.com/bestoftheyear. That's audible.com/bestoftheyear. Let's get a first impression. This is how we've started this. We've started these episodes recently like this, and I'm actually curious your first impression of Dyson.
He didn't really talk when he first got here, so I didn't know what to think of you. I knew you were Australian. You had a very, very strong accent.
It's gone.
Still have it.
What were the other Australian characteristics besides the accent?
He says mate a lot. A lot. And he cusses a lot too. But
you're not shy, but you definitely like assess things before you speak up, if that makes sense. You're
I'm one of those people that if I feel comfortable, I'm gonna talk a lot of shit, you know. I'm gonna get under people's skin and you know, be myself more. But you know, if I'm around people that, you know, Australians, we have no filter. Like we just say shit, you know, and there's no filter. And in the world we are today, you know, you kind of have to be careful what you say. So I'm making sure I'm around the right people for me to, you know, be myself. But I'm also very aware of my surroundings. So I would say I could be introverted at the start, but you know, the extrovert style would.
You see him? Does he talk shit during the games?
No, he's not really. Off the court though, he's always.
I talk shit to him during the games.
Like what?
Like if he like throw a bad pass, or like the other day hit the side of the backboard, and he always talk shit to me when I'm throwing up air balls. So we
but it's a mutual thing though. Like I decided the backboard in the last game, the air ball.
Like we always talk about Joe Ingles, but I feel like that's one of the because he doesn't just like he talks a lot of shit, but he's just the funny guy. He's the ultimate teammate because of that. Because he'll do that same type of thing where it's like if the mood is down, he'll bring you back up. And so there really is an art to that. It's like just
for sure. I mean, yeah, like Joe, he's kind of known for that, you know, that pesky stuff, that little, you know, the little sneaky words he, you know, gets in there and stuff. And I'm not that guy that, you know, out there like match up, you know, talking shit. But you know, if someone says something to me, I'll say something back for sure. But I'm not the one to really, you know, start it, I would say.
I have to ask you this, and I will preface this by saying he's a friend. He's been on the show a bunch of times. Love the guy. Did you see Des peg that ball yesterday?
On OG? Yeah, I did.
What did you think?
You know, when I saw that, I'm like, what is he doing? Like, for what? Like, when he did it to me, honestly, like, I didn't even feel the ball hit my head. So I was falling down to the ground, like, at the same time. But, like, yesterday on OG, like, the ball was saved in bounds, and he just still feel it at OG. And I was like, I feel for OG. He's like, what the fuck are you doing, dog? Like, I don't know. He's tripping.
I will say this. He even said, I said something to him after the game, and he was like, yeah, I threw it too hard. But, and I think he and OG are like boys. So I don't think there was any like issue.
Yeah, he actually hit me up. He apologized, actually, and said, like, no, it's all love. Like, he didn't mean to do it like that.
I was going to say, the way you responded, though, was about as good as you can respond to a thing like that. Yeah. Like it was just smooth. It was extremely well placed in a way that's going to like not make it a bigger thing than it needs to be, but also like send the message.
Yeah, but I was just so confused as to like what was going on. Like Mo was over here trying to start something with him, and I didn't see that he threw the ball at me till after the game. Ain't nothing serious though.
So I know his background. We've done some of the stuff on the show with this already. Curious. So did you grow up in Chino, or were you in the city?
I grew up in LA first, and then I moved out to Chino probably like when I was 10, 11 years old.
What part of LA?
South Central.
And then when did you grow? What was your basketball trajectory like?
I mean, like, I feel like I was gradually just always taller than everybody else. I was in 6th grade, I was like 6'3", 6'4". 7th grade, 6'6". 8th grade, 6'7", 6'8". Like now I'm like 6'9". I just gradually just kept growing.
Your freshman year, did it become like how clear did it become early on that it was going to be like a little bit of a circus? Like it was gonna be something that was going to attract national attention.
Well, the year before I got there, like they were really good. You know, they were playing in national games at Chino Hills, lost in state, and like I knew when I got there, it was Lonzo's senior year. Melo was coming in with Jello. Like I knew we were going to be good. I didn't know we were going to be that good, you know. But you know, fun times. You know, it was 10 years ago. So
did you know? Were you following the Ball family?
Yeah, like that was like where the noise was coming from. Obviously, Chino Hills, and you know, see all the clips of them online and on Instagram and stuff like that. So I definitely knew. Like that was kind of like the high school that you followed when you were in Australia, you know, watching US basketball.
I mean, it's amazing what they as a family have accomplished. I would say overall, what do you think kind of like stood out to you in retrospect about just everything that they were sort of able to do?
I mean, like for example, like Lonzo, like he was kind of like the head of the snake. Like he literally did everything for us, and like we kind of naturally just followed his lead. Their demeanors are different. Like Lonzo's quiet, you know. Jello's kind of quiet as well, but he has an edge to him. And then Melo is just Melo. You know, it kind of helps him how he plays.
Yeah.
You know, he's a wild one, always talking, always has the antics, and you know, it helps with their play. So, you know, also great guys to be around too.
How do you approach defending somebody like with how skilled he is?
Yeah, he's obviously a tough matchup. You know, a guy like him, you kind of never know what he's going to do. Dancing with it, you know, he's got a little bit of everything. So, I mean, you just kind of have to be physical and, you know, crawl up in those guys and kind of force them one way. And, you know, as the defender, I want to be the aggressor, make him do what, you know, I want to do rather than, you know, kind of be guessing what he's going to do. He's a great player, and a guy like him that, you know, they get hot, get going, you know, you kind of don't want to allow them to get in that rhythm. So you just got to take him out of that to start the game.
It's amazing with all the basketball accomplishments, which are, you know, ongoing, but then you also just have a record deal, a number one, whatever it is, number one, number two song in the middle of it. Just out of nowhere, just like a thing you just like drop in, like just because.
Yeah, you know, honestly, they used to always like, you know, make songs or lyrics, you know, back when we were in high school. I know like even Lonzo, like they used to always like just love music. And like they used to rap on the side. Like Lonzo started out making albums, you know, when he was playing for the Lakers. So that was always their thing. I just didn't know like it was ever gonna blow up like that.
I feel like every once in like, you know, every few years you get these siblings, the sibling families, and they kind of like, I mean, you're, you know, knock on wood, are potentially going to be in this spot in a couple years as well. It's interesting though, like the pressures that come from not trying to play like your brother, you know, and finding your own way, but then also having the natural expectation. Do you feel like you have to talk to about that with Dash already?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, yeah, it's already hit Dash. Like everyone says he plays exactly like me, you know, when they watch him play. So I think for him, it's, you know, you can't get caught up in that. You just got to I got to push him to, you know, play his own, like be himself, basically. You know, go out there, work on your game. And, you know, we have the same instincts, basically, you know, defensive instincts, and we both can't shoot. You know, it's fucking how we come. But, you know, I think for him, it's just about pushing, you know, himself, you know, in ways that, you know, I want to, like this pre-draft coming up, you know, I want to do a lot of work with him and just push him, you know, defend him to be better, because we both know what we need to be better at. It's just about getting with the right, you know, people, the right trainers that are going to allow us to, you know, teach us these things and putting that work in. But it can be hard sometimes, you know, especially for him. You know, people can put expectations on him to, you know, make the NBA and you know, be a high draft pick or whatever. But you know, I just tell him, like, you can't get caught up in that. You just got to go out there, be yourself, make plays, like play free. You know, when you play free, that's when you play your best basketball. So that's kind of what I tell him is don't worry about the outside noise, and because there's going to be a lot of it. But at a young age, it can be a little tough sometimes. But I think he's starting to learn that.
What do you think you wish you knew about pre-draft that you are going to tell him?
You know, I did an individual pre-draft, and you know, I think, you know, doing that, you know, it was cool, but like I didn't really have anyone to really compete against, you know. And I think one thing I'm gonna tell him, and if we have the same agent, like it's important to have people that are gonna push you as well. And I think work out with people who are also in pre-draft. I'm gonna get in there and help him as well, just to get that feeling of what it's like to have that competitiveness and stuff like that. Because you're going into these workouts and they're going to be competitive. It's a dogfight going into that. So, I mean, for me, I think just having other people that are trying to achieve the same things, that are going to push you, that's important to have in the pre-draft stuff.
Was yours weird because of COVID?
Yeah, I didn't work out for anybody. I just had probably 4 or 5 virtual interviews, and that was it. Honestly, easiest pre-draft ever. They were just going off of all my college film. So,
how early did you know it was going to be? Like, how it was going to go down?
I didn't know till I think August or September. They said in November we're gonna have the drafts at our houses. So I'm like, all right, bet. Had a party at my house, not knowing where I was gonna go. It was a unique draft, but it was really put together. It was really fun.
It's a funny draft because it's a really good draft. I mean, I think people at the time thought it was going to be a good draft, and it's probably even aged better just over time with how many good players came from it. But I feel you can definitely see the no workout because there's good players all over the place in it. Yeah. It's not like it's oh yeah, the top 4 is great, and then there's nothing towards the end. It just is it's a little bit of it's all over the place.
Yeah, our draft was pretty good. On the back end, we had Bane, we had McDaniels, Maxey. They were late picks that really panned out well.
Yeah. What was in terms of your pre-draft? I mean, obviously you if you were doing workouts at the time, what do you think you would have? What do you think you would have done differently?
Honestly, I got hurt actually. At the end of pre-draft, I hurt my foot, so I wasn't really working out. But before I got hurt, I don't know. I probably would have, worked on my shooting more. I wouldn't have waited until
ask you about that.
My 3rd, 4th year to really want to shoot the ball more. But I think other than that,
was there a moment where you just woke up one day and you're like, yeah, we did an ep with Bam and Norm last week, and I was talking to Bam about this because he's a great 3-point shooter now, and he was he didn't shoot threes at all in college, and then even when he got to the league, he would shoot one every 2 weeks basically, and now he's close to 40%. And so he just was they kind of needed it, and then he just repped it out like anything else. But did you have a moment where you basically were just I got to change this?
The staff here really was trying to really get it in my head to shoot the ball more. At first, I wasn't comfortable shooting it, but I always had the touch. I've always had a great touch. So it's always been about repping it out. And for me, it's always been a confidence thing. If I were to make 1 3, then I'll shoot more. And this year, I just, just let it fly.
But this whole team is just bombing it.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about it. But I feel that also probably gives a little more confidence too of just when you're with a group like this, and you got Jalen, you got Trey when he comes back, you got guys who can play make for you and let you do your thing, but then also you don't feel like you're on an island if you're just going to shoot 8 threes. It fits into what you guys are trying to do.
Definitely. And I never saw a world that ever take 14 threes in a game.
What have you learned from Kritaps so far?
Kritaps has a unique game, inside out. And I've definitely, I've been posting more than I ever have, and I was just watching him do his thing. So he's a great guy to be around. He's top tier. It's top tier vibes guy. Yeah. Love being around him.
What's the example?
You never seen him. He the guy's
never phased.
Yeah, with his coffee, just so giddy, up and about.
Coffee in his hand every day.
You can't. He's never in a bad mood.
I think some of that is he's seen a lot of shit.
Yeah,
he's been through different NBA. He saw the Knicks when the Knicks are. It's a foreign concept to where the Knicks are now. Even what he went through in Dallas. I remember JJ was there when he was on that because that was his last year, and he was there, and it was with him and Luka, and it was and then going and winning a title and like that. I feel he can come and impart his wisdom.
Nah, for sure. I mean, he's obviously he's got his championship and stuff, and he's coming in, he's being that leader. I was talking to him after practice. He's giving me some tips and stuff, and just like little post up game and like little crab dribbles and stuff. And yeah, like I said, it's just a great guy to be around. Like, he comes in, he's always brings that energy into the building. He's talking about his cars, his UFC, the stuff he likes, and yeah, I mean, those are the type of guys you want on your team because some days it can be hard. You're tired in the morning, but he'll get the team going. Yeah.
What about the other new addition? Nikhil has been amazing. Just like what he's brought in terms of just what you guys probably knew of him as a opponent versus what he's sort of doing across the board offensively and defensively.
I mean, Nikhil works super hard. Like that's where he's got himself today. Like he works super hard. He's in there every morning, getting his reps, getting his he does the same routine every time. So it's no surprise kind of the breakout he's having. And he's really taking a leadership role as well, like with his voice, in huddles. Like he's usually the guy talking before the game and in huddles and stuff like that. So he's really stepped up in that role.
The jump that Jalen has made, and you've seen this the whole way through, but just the stats in particular are crazy, over the last couple of months. Is there something in particular from like a playmaking standpoint that you've seen that feels like different?
Honestly, no. I think, with Trey just being out, he's been able to have the ball in his hands just a lot more in general. And like he's always had, playmaking ability, and he's just showcasing it. He works really hard. He's been working hard since the day I met him, his rookie year. So I'm happy to see him actually showcase what he has out there.
I'm curious your perspective. He's as a teammate, you get the luxury of this, but you guys both are, but you're often in a position where like a guy like him is such a matchup nightmare. Like even watching the Denver game the other night, they have their own version of that, like a little bigger, but just at a certain point when they're cooking, there's not much you can do no matter what. So like if you have you're not going to have Jalen, but if you have somebody on the other side who you feel like just can control the game this way, they don't just they're not just scoring, they can just sort of like control the pace. How do you feel like you get them out of rhythm? What's your best sort of advice to kind of get them off track?
Yeah, I mean, like when someone's in rhythm, like that's kind of hard to stop. And I found that a few times this year. When people get going, like these NBA players, they're the best in the world. And when you see the ball going a couple of times, the rim just gets bigger and bigger. So I think for me, like the aggressiveness is just the main thing. Like you make someone take tough shots, they make them, you just got to tip your hat. But, I know that like you got to change up what you're doing. You can't do the same thing. You give same guy like the same coverage 3 times in a row. Like he's gonna change what he does. And, as a defender, we're kind of, it's a react thing to what the offense is doing. But, for me, I like to, kind of make them react to what I'm doing. So whether it be, we channeling or, we in a red or a switch, like we have to switch up our coverages to keep them guessing. And I mean, if someone's hot, sometimes we trap them coming back to hit. Like it's just about showing them different things to kind of try to throw them off a little bit.
What's your, like if you're talking to Dash, like what's your advice just in terms of defending without fouling?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I pride myself on is, you pick up fouls, you're on the bench, so you can't really help there. And one thing for me is defending without fouling. So just finding ways where I can be aggressive, but like in a safe way, kind of. And the one thing I got to be better at is the swipe down. A lot of the times, guys are looking for that now. They're searching for hands, and you put your hand in the cookie jar. You get a little finger on them. It's a foul now. So you got to be careful there. And for me, I think one thing I've done this year is just show my hands a lot more and be more straight up. And I think that's what's been keeping me out of foul trouble.
Did you have a welcome to the NBA moment defensively?
Jeez, honestly, I think my rookie year, it's my first start, played in Milwaukee, and I remember I was guarding Giannis. I think it's literally off the tip. They got it. He just went right downhill, Euro step, dunked on me, and I'm just like, oh no, we're not doing this the entire game. Not my first start. And he tried to do it again. Literally next play down, took a charge. But I think that was my welcome.
I feel like a lot of people have him, just from the pure mix of speed and physicality. A lot of people have him in that boat.
Yeah.
In terms of like when you see that, you realize like this is not something that I've prepared for.
I mean, there's a lot of people who are fast and can get downhill, but he's coming at you downhill. It's tough. It's different.
Do you have an up and coming guy like that? Like somebody you feel like is going to be there's obviously a lot of great young players in the league, including on this team, but like, is there someone who you like, this is going to be the person who, 3 years from now is going to be the Giannis in these conversations?
It's tough. Like, we're going to, like, there's guys that have like, could have the frame as him, but like the mindset, I think the mindset is what separates him. It's like his aggressiveness and the way he gets downhill, and like, obviously he's super strong, but like he's super quick too. I don't really know.
Maybe Alex Sarr?
Yeah, Alex Sarr is probably the close one.
I'm
like,
thinking about.
They could like fill out into, his frame. But then again, they kind of played like completely different. So
have you had a Wemby experience yet?
Nah, I think the only time I really played against him was last year. I just sat around and just shot threes. I don't want to go in the paint.
Yeah, I'm in one of those clips in transition where, I got a layup and he's right there and I just back it out.
Back it out, bro. It's just like you think you're open, but you're not.
Yeah.
I think that's the question with him is like how many shots don't get attempted, which is just, it does not show up.
It's not even worth it.
I feel like you guys will both sort of have a perspective on this in different ways. But I'm kind of interested, we talked about it a little bit, but your growth defensively in terms of you can be a great individual defender, but the team concepts have to be there. Like you can do everything you can do everything right. And if the rest of your teammates don't back you up, you're still going to give up 120 points and it's not going to look good. Yeah. So how do you sort of like lock in on yourself while also making sure that everyone are like making sure that the group is sort of following your lead?
I mean, I feel like you just got to hold everybody accountable. Because I'm doing something right, he's doing something right, but Zach is in the wrong spot.
Yeah,
it's a complete breakdown. They're gonna score. So no matter how well he's playing defense or I'm playing defense, one breakdown can just mess everything up.
You need 5 players, be on a string. You don't have to be a great individual defender to be a good team defender. Like you just got to be in the right spots and cycle and shift for each other and stuff like that. And if you're a bad closeout guy, like you can still run them off the line, but you got to know that your teammates got to have your back. So I think team defense is huge, and I think we're really taking strides in that this year and stepping up.
Last year, I mean, since the last time we did one of these apps, you won a bunch of hardware, you stacked up a bunch of numbers. I'm just I guess I'm kind of curious, like your perspective now. If you were to be a little introspective on it in terms of, do you feel like people are approaching you differently? Because I feel like the Great Barrier Reef became sort of a thing of its own, and it became the Great Barrier Reef became like a thing of its own. Do you feel like you're sort of treated differently on like the defensive scout than you probably were like this time last year?
Yeah, I mean, I start to see a little bit like, I've some teams like, when I'm picking up, they try to run me off a lot more screens that I'm seeing now, rather than some teams rather than put me in a lot of on-ball screens, I'm getting put in a lot of off-ball action screens. And for me, it's just about trying to figure out ways where I can get my advantage there and navigate those stuff like that. But I mean, for me, like I want to be the defensive leader on this team and the head of the snake. Like I want to be the guy that's communicating with everyone, like holding each other accountable. And you see all the best teams in the NBA now, like OKC, like Houston, like these guys, they're the best defensive teams. So I think we have the personnel, to get there. It's just about continuing to work on it.
What do you see as his teammate in terms of what do you think makes him so good?
He just has great instincts. Like some of the steals you get are just ridiculous sometimes. Like you're not even looking at the ball. You turn around, you just snatch it out of the air. And he's like a wiry defender. Some people have it, others don't. He has it.
I feel like this gets back to the perceptiveness thing, though, is you can bait people.
Yeah.
Because it's unclear sort of how you're thinking, but you can see, you can see something develop without telegraphing the fact that you see it.
I mean, I think a lot of, defensive preach like physicality nowadays. And, that physicality is needed at some points, but, that's kind of what the offense is expecting now. Like you can't, like I like to, kind of give space and then like, use my length and then quickness to like kind of bait people into passes. And when you like push them and shove them with someone, it's a little harder to get a steal rather than is to get a run up and poke it from behind. So just trying to find little things where I can become even more effective.
Audible's most anticipated collection of the year is here, and trust me, you're gonna want to hear this. Their editors have left no stone unturned, sifting through countless hours of listening and having those heated debates get pretty intense when people are passionate about stories. Was checking out the Audible list of audiobooks of the year, their top 20. A lot of good stuff on here. The Buffalo Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, I've heard is great. The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, of course, podcast, all media mogul Mel Robbins is great. I might get into Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. It's one of the most popular books of all time. I've never read it. Feels like no time like the present to try to get into that incredible story. They've uncovered those hidden gems that'll make you sit in your parked car just to finish one more chapter. And yes, all the buzziest new releases get their flowers too. Whether you're into edge-of-your-seat thrillers or mind-expanding nonfiction, there's more to imagine when you listen. Want to finish the year with a sure thing? Check out Audible's Best of 2025 at audible.com/best of the year. That's audible.com/best of the year. Thanks to DraftKings for sponsoring the show. DraftKings Sportsbook knows how incredible this NBA season has been. I mean, we're watching absolute classics night after night. The in-season tournament bringing playoff intensity to December, rookies shocking the world, and teams getting ready for those massive Christmas Day matchups. In Missouri, you can finally join in on all of this. That's right, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is now live in the Show Me State. Listen, for all you new customers out there in Missouri and beyond, they're offering an incredible deal. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. That's no joke. Richie, as always, playing around on DraftKings Sportsbook team futures this morning. We're taping this Wednesday, as always, subject to change. I'm looking at these final winners futures. OKC plus 145, duh. Nuggets plus 600, duh. Houston Rockets plus 1,000. Lakers plus 1,200. Knicks plus 1,300. The Cavs hanging strong at plus 1,600. The Detroit Pistons, there we go, sneaking in at plus 2,000. If I'm looking at value, I'm not going to lie. The San Antonio Spurs at plus 3,500. The way these guys are playing, they're playing the Lakers tonight in the in-season tournament. The way these guys are playing without Wemby, and when you add that to the mix, it's pretty interesting. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TEAM3. That's code TEAMTHREE. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bet if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Who are your favorite vets your first couple years?
My favorite vet, probably Lou Will, Gallinari, DeLon Wright, Gorgie Dang, just a few names to throw out there. Some real good dudes.
Looking back on it now, your experience in the playoff run, obviously you're still sort of getting your bearings in the league, but what do you think you kind of learned from that, and sort of taking forward now where you're in a spot where you kind of have to instill some of that, to some of the younger guys?
Yeah, definitely playing in the playoffs is a different, level of play, intensity, physicality. And, I'm watching my vets, the attention to detail they had and, making sure that, that every possession matters. But I remember during the playoffs that year, Lou Will had told me, don't show too much respect to your opponent. So I remember, I forgot who was on Philadelphia. It might have been Dwight Howard. He felt like I was just, giving in. And he was just telling me, he ain't that like that. Don't give too much respect. And that really helped my play the rest of the
that was a fateful series.
Yeah, Philadelphia.
That changed the course of Philadelphia, that franchise, I feel like.
Definitely. That was Ben Simmons' last time playing for Philadelphia, I think.
Yeah, that was the trade. Do you remember that? Were you on the court for that or no?
No. I was on the bench, actually. It was late in the fourth, and he just passed it out. He didn't want to get fouled. Kind of crazy.
I remember we did an app with Trey, I think that summer afterwards or whatever, and he was like, he already had the New York people mad at him or whatever, and he's like, I can't. It's like, I can't also have Philly. It's like you can only have so many Eastern Conference cities that are pissed off at you, but it's also just how he plays. He's that's what I'm so excited to see when he comes back here too, is just I feel like, and I'm kind of curious your guys' perspective, he's a guy that gets a ton of, love and credit, but he's almost become underrated in a way in terms of his numbers are insane. His impact is insane. And it's been basically like that since he's been in the league. And with the group you guys have now, it just feels like, talking about playmaking before, it feels like that's a huge supercharge to add somebody like that back into the group.
And I agree. He definitely warrants all-star, all-NBA considerations, every year. I just sometimes, I don't know why people overlook him. But, when he gets back, hopefully we can, get the ball rolling again.
Lou Will's a good vet.
Great vet.
Who were the New Orleans ones?
I had Garrett Temple, I had CJ McCollum, Larry Nance, Valanciunas. Those guys.
Larry's a good.
Yeah, Larry.
Larry's a good dude.
That's a funny guy. Yeah, he was here. He came. Did he come with you?
Yeah, he was here with me last year and then went to Cleveland this year.
Do you feel like it's getting worse for the league? Like that every team should probably establish 3 or 4 spots that are going to be, guys like this who are just like locker room guys. Like, do you feel like that is a thing that there's a commitment to, or you think that's getting worse?
I feel like, most teams, at least young teams, should have at least 1 or 2 vets.
Yeah.
Like those teams in Miami kept Haslam around, all those years, Definitely, I think you should have at least 1.
Yeah.
1 vet.
A vet helps for sure. Like, you need that guy that's got that experience, that can talk to the younger guys, that has been there, seen it all, doesn't need to play, but it can still contribute their wisdom in ways. So I think, every year I've been in the league, like this, we don't really have a vet.
Me?
On the team. You're not a vet, man.
Me?
Like,
how do you define it? We got this. I got into this with we did up with Caruso and Jalen Williams. Not Dub, the other Jalen Williams. And he was saying he was a vet because he's been on that team for a certain number of years. And they're like, bro, you're like 26. Like, you're not.
I feel like I'm a vet, but
you're not. You're definitely not a vet. But like,
what would make you a vet and not him?
Well, we'll put it this way. People are gonna come up and ask me questions. So does that make me a vet?
No. They ask you way more questions than they ask you.
No way.
Yeah, first of all.
Anyways. No way.
But for me, I feel like I'm a vet because going on year 6, I didn't experience, Easter Conference, playoff appearances and all that. Get along with everybody. And also I have that personality. I talk a lot. I'm always, trying to talk to somebody, my personality. You don't have the personality.
Do a poll or something. Yeah.
I do think that
you are one of the older guys, one of the older guys with years on the team. Like, what's year 7?
Year 6.
Year 6. Yeah, I mean, you're probably the 4th or 5th for the most years. So you probably are a vet.
Definitely am. It's not no question.
I do think that
rookie vet.
Yeah, I do think that people asking you stuff is like, there's a world where probably it's like it's all relative. Like, neither of you would be vets in the Clippers.
No.
You would be like,
exactly.
You're the young. I don't know what the word is. You're the young dude. You're the young guy.
It depends. There's vets in the league, and then there's vets on teams. Like, you're probably a vet on the team, but you're not a vet in the league in a way. So
6 years.
A
lot of years, dude.
10.
What's the average? What's the average NBA
like 4, isn't
playing
it?
career? That's like 4 or 5.
His
4.
parent says 5.
I already passed that, bro.
So he already passed it. So he's already.
Yeah, you're on your way out, brother. That just means you're closer to getting out,
I'm on the way out?
Yeah, you're on the way out.
Were you always going to go to USC? Did you have any of the I don't want to be at home vibe, or you just were kind of like?
No, I always loved USC, loved the colors. It was close to where I grew up. I considered UCLA a little bit, but I was always going to USC.
If you had come to school here,
I think I was going to go Houston. Like, Houston was the top of my list.
That would have been a good fit.
Yeah. But for me, I chose to go to Ignite really early. Like, I would have had to wait another year to go to college if I wanted to.
You looking back at that experience now, do you feel like there was anything it particularly added?
I mean, I think just playing against NBA type guys, like the NBA style and college style is completely different. So I just kind of got exposed to that younger and learned a lot. I was with Rod Strickland was one of he was the GM at the time on the team, but I was able to get some work in with him. Obviously he was a great NBA player, and I still have question should I have gone to college or not? Like, college looks fun. My friends tell me they love college, and it's an experience in itself. So I mean, I missed out on that, but I got to where I wanted to get to at the end of the day, and I'm happy with my choice of going.
I wonder if I mean, this you can only speak to your own experience, but if you're coming from overseas, especially from as far as where you're coming from, there's also an added benefit of you get to adjust to the US in the way that you're gonna be living your life, which is if you get thrown on a college campus, like, USC is a fun school. Like
Great school.
there's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of like you get plopped down there. You might not necessarily be like improving basketball wise because there's a lot of shit going on that is like outside of the gym.
Yeah, definitely a lot of distractions. At the time, though, I had a girlfriend, so I mean, she made sure I was inside all the time.
It's also like I feel like it's just funny. I mean, it's why everyone's different, but it's like you played in a circus in high school. Like you're not going to play in a crazier environment, most likely in college, than you had from like your freshman, sophomore year on a high school. So like you probably already, even if you didn't acknowledge it at the time, were probably already like mentally used to even probably getting here. Cause like like it's not like it's not like you're gonna get more attention in certain colleges than you were then. But it's like I feel like it's probably partially something that gave you sort of like your focus was like going there and just being like you're just working all day.
Yeah, we had no distractions. Like we were living in Walnut Creek and there's not a lot to do there. So it's just basketball, basically. Yeah, I was able to, develop and get better there. And that's what I wanted to do is my goal was to make the NBA. So kind of just took that year to really focus on basketball.
In terms of like, to the vet conversation for a second, in terms of like, so like family aside, Dash aside, when you're talking to younger guys, teammates, other guys around the league, and you're talking about like trends of the league since you guys have come in, is there anything in particular that stood out, whether it's like pace or anything that's like stood out that you've noticed that good or bad, that feels like it's kind of changed since you've been in?
Everyone tries to play fast now. Not everyone, but like 90% of the league tries to play fast. And
they're trying to shoot threes.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to shoot nowadays.
Get them up, get up and down, and that's kind of how it is, But you come against the teams that play slow, and you have to have the personnel to do that. Guys, obviously the Clippers, they were a slow team, like Denver, who have like Jokic, like those guys. But I mean, every team, is just trying to play fast and get up threes. Really, the transition defense has to be on every game.
What was the Jokic experience?
He's very unique. It's a big dude. And what sucks was like, I felt like I was doing a good job guarding him in that first half. And then second half came, that first play, you kind of felt like his energy changed. And when I got 20-0 run, I mean, he's just one of those players who can just control the game.
He came out with a different energy.
Definitely.
Well, they've had a bunch of these games. I mean, it's funny because like, I think that they probably knew going in this was going to be a tough game, but they had a bunch of these games at home that they've kind of just like, hasn't been playing hard, and they've kind of like let it sit. And you could see in this one, it was almost like you guys jumped him so bad that it woke him up earlier than it would have been if he had, woken up in like the 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter or something.
Jokic and Jamal, dudes out, they're gonna, carry the load and do what it takes to win games. That's what they did the other night.
Jokic is like one of those guys that like you could do a good job on him, but he's still gonna have 30, 12, and 15. The game plan, you kind of have to take something away. It's like you take him away, or you take the other guys away. But they're a good team. I mean, he's seen everything and they adjust well, so they're gonna be a tough team.
Are there other groups or sort of individuals around the league just that you've been just impressed by in terms of like the kind of jumps they've made this year?
Honestly, that kid from Charlotte, Concanupo, I know he's a rookie, but he's really good. He actually really moves me. For real. Austin Reeves, him too.
Balling.
He has been balling.
If you look at, I think teams like I think like Utah's making big strides this year, and Spurs look really good. Like the teams that have really taken jumps this year, and those two guys are probably the main two.
Phoenix is another one.
Phoenix is actually good.
Phoenix plays hard. They're another one. They're like, I think their expectations were probably not super high. When you are at this, I mean, we're taping this in December, and I feel like the NBA is a slog. It's like you get pre-All-Star, you get to the months, and it's like you got a game every other day. You got back-to-backs. You got to pace yourself. When you're thinking about how to kind of pace yourself physically and mentally, knowing now what the playoffs entail, what do you feel like you've kind of learned over these last couple of years in terms of just that process?
It's a lot of games. It's a lot of games. I mean, like we've had a tough schedule. Like I felt like in November we were barely even home. now we got a nice little break, 4 or 5 days, and then we're home damn near all of December. So it's just about taking care of your body, making sure your mind is right. As much as you want to take care of your body physically, you got to make sure your mental is good too.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. You mentally prepare for every game the same way. You go through your routine, then you'll be fine. Like your body's going to be up and down, feel good. Some games you're going to feel bad, but if you're mentally prepared for every game, then you can kind of like push yourself through. And it's going to be games you're tired, but you just got to fight. Like you just got to fight through it.
Have you changed anything about your film in terms of how you watch film?
No, I mean I watch film, before every game with B. Bailey, but I mean I still go watch. I watch the team we play the night before every night. So I've been doing that since year 2 in the league, and I mean that's something that I just like to do because I just see concepts and what people do and what the team's going to do. So it's kind of something that I'll just stick with.
Is he the funniest guy on the team?
I got to be up there.
He's the loudest. He's
the self-proclaimed funniest.
Yeah, I mean he's up there for sure. You probably are, but that's just because
or Dante.
Speak your mind.
I was gonna say, what's the other dynamic? Like, what are the other? Who else is in that?
Jalen's quiet.
Yeah, we get like a international team.
Well, I say a lot of foreign dudes on our team.
Like, we got guys that the English isn't as good, so
speaking French.
Yeah, we talk shit in French to Zach.
Half our team speaks French, honestly. I don't know what the hell they're saying.
I've learned some good things to say to Zach. Yeah, it's probably O. I was up there. I was pretty funny.
What other languages do you speak? Anything?
English and bullshit. Yeah.
Thanks to DraftKings for sponsoring the show. You want to know what's been getting me through these cold December nights? Just firing up League Pass and taking in all this NBA action. We've got superstars dropping 40 pieces left and right, young guys making their mark, and the Emirates NBA Cup bringing that extra juice to every game. And Missouri basketball fans, the wait is finally over. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is now live in your state. The timing couldn't be better with all of these incredible games happening. Plus, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 if your bet wins paid in bonus bets. So DraftKings Sportsbook is now live, as we talked about last week, in the state of Missouri. Shout out to our friends at New Heights, our partner show. I saw Brandon and Jake were at the Chiefs game this past Sunday, hawking some of the DraftKings product. Very exciting for the state of Missouri. Very exciting for those guys, although the game probably didn't end the way we all wanted. Missouri sports, NBA fans in general, you got a lot of exciting stuff to watch for. We talked last week about, all the different options of teams you could pick. I'm not going to lie. If I lived in the state of Missouri right now, I would hop on that OKC Thunder bandwagon and I would not hop off. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TEAM3. That's code TEAMTHREE. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bet if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Did you spend a lot of time back home this summer?
I did. I spent too much time at home. I when I go back home, it's winter, so it's not as good. But I was there for about 3 or 4 months. We're opening this big sporting complex out there.
Have you been?
Well, I just told you the other day, like I want to go to Australia. Like You're from Melbourne, right?
You're always welcome, brother.
I'll
take care of you out there.
What's the thing you're building?
Oh, we built like a big sporting complex. So it's like a basketball courts, like a retail area, like food and stuff. So
in the city or outside?
In the city, Melbourne. Yeah. I opened about 4 or 5 months ago.
How would you describe Melbourne? I've been, but how would you describe it?
The Melbourne is, you don't go there to Melbourne for the weather. You go there for good food, like the nightlife. And Melbourne's kind of like where people go to work,
I was going to say Melbourne. I was going to say Melbourne reminds me of Miami.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Miami,
I think Sydney's exactly like LA.
Miami, you go, in a way it is, because Miami, you kind of go to party and stuff. But like Miami also has the beaches. Melbourne doesn't have the beaches. Like up north, Queensland.
Yeah.
I would say Gold Coast is like kind of more the Miami vibe.
Yeah. Sydney is very similar to LA, I think.
Sydney's LA, that's for sure. Yeah, Sydney.
And then what's the one that's all the way far west?
Perth. Yeah, Perth that's just out the way.
How's Brisbane? Or Brisbane?
Brisbane?
Yeah.
Brisbane and Gold Coast, they're like an hour drive from each other. So that's kind of like what I would say is in Miami.
Aren't the Olympics going there soon?
The who?
Olympics.
Yeah. Brisbane, the 2028. So, no.
Oh.
2032.
No, 2028.
2032.
That's them.
2032.
LA is 2020.
You think it's gonna be all right?
The Olympics?
Yeah.
I hope.
What are they saying?
I'm nervous. I'm not like nervous in a bad way. I just LA, the traffic's crazy already. I mean, you lived there.
I mean, they shut down the whole city for like
the traffic's crazy. They're saying it's going to be a carless city. You grew up in LA. Like, can you see there being a carless? Like, I'm just kind of like, it's now like not that far away. And it starts to be like, you go to, like, I was in LA last week. I'm like, I don't see. You want to start seeing like structural changes.
Are they building stuff?
I heard they're building a train, but like even a train, it's like I gotta go from the Valley to downtown to Santa Monica, then Orange County to South Bay. It's like, I don't know, stuff. LA's big.
Yeah.
Big place.
It's funny. It's what they're gonna do because they're gonna do all the stuff in like Long Beach and they're gonna do it. So I think the thing which could be interesting is there's a world where like it's going on and people don't almost like don't know it's happening because that things are happening in like if something's happening in Long Beach and you're in Santa Monica, you're not going to be like it's too far away. Like you're not going to be paying attention to it.
Yeah.
What do you think the biggest difference for you with FIBA versus NBA is?
I mean, FIBA is just so condensed. Like it just feels like every possession matters, in FIBA. And
is it better for you defensively or harder?
I would say FIBA defense is it's definitely more team defense than individual defense. Because like if you miss a rotation or like a team goes on like a 6-0 run, that's kind of equivalent to like a 12-0 run in the NBA. Like every possession counts. Like you got to get a good shot, you got to get stops. Like you got to be on a string as a team defensively. So I would say it's a little more difficult, in FIBA.
It's always interesting. We were talking about this with Bam last week about the guys that go crazy in FIBA. Who are great, like, have great NBA careers, but are like Evan Fournier. He's like a FIBA. Gets the
FIBA. I played with Patty, Patty, a FIBA legend, Patty Mills. So the guy goes off.
Legend.
Yeah, he'd be going off every time.
Do you have a favorite Patty story?
I don't really got too many Patty stories, but
he's a cool guy.
Yeah, actually,
he's a great guy.
He took it like Patty's like he's a really good leader, and he took us out. It was called Cairns in Australia, and we went out to like where he's from, kind of, and I think it was called a Cut Murray, where he cooked us. It's like hot rocks, and put like turtle and all this different meat and stuff on the rocks, and that's what we ate for dinner. So that was kind of cool.
Sound good?
I'll try it out.
This is right. He wants to go to Australia. What's the farthest place you've been?
Probably when we played the Bucks in the preseason, Dubai, Abu Dhabi.
Have you done Asia or no?
I've been to Barcelona, south of France. I need to go back to south of France though. Cannes, Monaco, that area.
Have you done Asia?
I've done Tokyo, and then Okinawa in Japan.
I feel like it's different when you're where you are. You can just like hop.
Japan's closer.
You can like hop places. You can just go to. They can go to like Bali. It's like 2 hours.
Bali, like we got those little islands, but I mean Europe, that's like 24 hours for us.
So before we wrap, I want to just get your guys, your goals for the next couple months. We can do it. We'll do another check-in hopefully when you're in the top 4 seed in the East, heading into the playoffs. But there's a lot of moving parts in this group. There's a huge amount of talent, obviously, as we've talked about, and I feel like with Trey coming back, it's only going to get better. You're adding a multiple time all-star, all-NBA type talent to a group that is like this. So what do you sort of want to see from like yourselves individually? And then what do you want to see from your team sort of collectively to feel like, your next couple months or you're going to take the jump?
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's, teams, I think we have a really good team this year that can do really good things. So just continuing to climb as a group, one step at a time. We don't want to look too far ahead, but we want to continue to build it. We don't want to be a playing team, put it that way. We want to be in the playoffs. We want to have to be fighting for a spot come mid-April, and hopefully in 2 months' time, 10 plus games above 500. That'll be really good for us. But that's just about building. Continue to get better defensively. Staying healthy is a big thing. That's the goals that I got for our team.
Really, honestly, what you just said, staying healthy. We've always had an injury bug since I've been here throughout the years. So I think we stay healthy, we'll be fine because I think the chemistry is fine. We're greatly coached. As long as we're available, we'll figure everything else out on the court.
Well said.